Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today's story is about Sarah's life had taken a cruel turn. In the dimly lit streets of the city, I walked with a heavy heart, each step weighed down by the burden of my mounting financial troubles. My name is Sarah, and my life had taken a cruel turn. Once, I had dreams of success and a carefree existence, but those dreams seemed to be slipping away with each unpaid bill that piled up on my kitchen table. As the nights grew colder and my desperation grew stronger, I found myself in a place I had never imagined, standing outside a nondescript building, the address of which had been given to me by a mysterious caller. Desperation had driven me here, and the promise of quick cash had lured me to this eerie place. With trembling hands, I pushed open the creaky door and entered a dimly lit room. It was decorated with an eclectic mix of bizarre paintings and eerie masks, giving the room an unsettling ambience. I felt a chill run down my spine as I looked around, realizing that I was not alone. Sitting at a table in the center of the room was a man, his face obscured by shadows. He spoke with a voice that sent shivers down my spine. "Sarah, I've been expecting you. I understand you have some financial difficulties." I nodded, unable to find my voice. My eyes darted around the room, searching for an exit, but there was none. The man leaned forward, revealing piercing blue eyes that seemed to see into my very soul. "I have a proposition for you," he said, his lips curling into a sinister smile. "I can solve your financial problems, but you must do something for me in return." Desperation clouded my judgment, and I asked, "What do you want me to do?" He handed me a sealed envelope and continued, "Inside this envelope, you will find a list of tasks. Complete them one by one, and your financial woes will be a thing of the past. But remember, failure is not an option." With trembling hands, I took the envelope, my heart racing as I contemplated what I was getting myself into. I left the eerie room, the weight of my decision heavy on my shoulders. As I opened the envelope and read the first task, my blood ran cold. It was a request to steal classified documents from a high-security government facility. I was trapped, caught between the jaws of financial ruin and the clutches of a psychopathic client. The choice had been made for me, and I had no way out. I decided to embark on this dangerous journey, hoping that each task would bring me closer to financial freedom. The first task was harrowing. With careful planning and sheer determination, I managed to infiltrate the government facility, my heart pounding in my chest as I slipped past security cameras and guards. The adrenaline rush was intoxicating, and I couldn't help but wonder if this was the life I was destined for. I successfully completed the task and returned the stolen documents to my enigmatic client. He seemed pleased, but offered no words of reassurance. Instead, he handed me another envelope containing the next task. This one was even more disturbing, a demand to sabotage the career of an influential politician. As I delved deeper into the world of espionage and manipulation, I began to question the morality of my actions. But the debts that loomed over me, the threat of financial ruin, kept me tethered to this nightmarish path. I was a pawn in a dangerous game, with no control over the moves I made. Each task became more audacious and morally compromising than the last. I sabotaged careers, destroyed reputations, and even engaged in acts of violence, all in the name of financial survival. My life had become a twisted web of deception and criminality. The more I interacted with my client, the more I realized that he was not just a psychopath, but a puppet master, orchestrating chaos for his own sinister purposes. I was just a disposable pawn in his grand scheme. One day, as I completed another task that left me feeling empty and broken, I received a call from an old friend, Emma. She had heard about my financial troubles and wanted to help. I hesitated, but eventually agreed to meet her. When we met, I poured out my heart, confessing everything I had been through. Tears streamed down my face as I recounted the terrible tasks I had performed to save myself from financial ruin. Emma listened in shock, horror etched across her face. "You can't keep doing this, Sarah," she said, her voice filled with concern. "You need to find a way out of this nightmare." I knew she was right, but I felt trapped, unable to escape the clutches of my psychopathic client. Emma, however, was determined to help me. She enlisted the help of a hacker friend, James, to trace the origin of the mysterious calls and uncover the identity of my tormentor. As James worked tirelessly to uncover the truth, my life became even more perilous. The tasks assigned by my client became increasingly dangerous, and I found myself teetering on the brink of disaster. It was as if my client knew I was seeking a way out and was determined to keep me under his control. Finally, after weeks of investigation, James managed to trace the calls to an underground criminal organization led by a man named Viktor Kozlov. He was a notorious figure, known for his cunning and ruthlessness. My heart sank as I realized the magnitude of the danger I was in. Armed with this information, Emma and James devised a plan to expose Kozlov and put an end to his reign of terror. It was a risky move, but I had no other choice. I had to confront my psychopathic client and put an end to this nightmare once and for all. The final confrontation with Kozlov was a tense and deadly affair. With the evidence of his crimes in hand, I confronted him in a dimly lit alley. He was furious, his eyes filled with a murderous rage. But I was no longer the scared and desperate girl he had first met. As Kozlov lunged at me, I fought back with all the strength I had left. With the help of Emma and James, we managed to overpower him and turn him over to the authorities. The nightmare was finally over. In the aftermath, I faced the consequences of my actions. I had committed terrible acts under the influence of a psychopath, and I knew I couldn't escape the law's grasp entirely. But at least I was free from Kozlov's clutches. As I sat in a prison cell, I reflected on the choices I had made and the dark path I had walked. It was a cautionary tale of how desperation could lead a person into the hands of a psychopath. But it was also a story of redemption, of breaking free from the chains of manipulation and finding the strength to confront one's demons. In the end, I had paid a heavy price for my actions, but I had also discovered the true meaning of resilience and the importance of the bonds of friendship. I vowed to rebuild my life, making amends for the wrongs I had committed and striving to be a better person. The scars of my past would always be a part of me, but I was determined to move forward with hope and forgiveness in my heart.